When seconds matter, the last thing you want is a gun that surprises you. This video strips away hype and honors firearms with proven, repeatable reliability, not flash-in-the-pan designs. We tested serviceability, simplicity, parts support, and how these pistols behave under stress. The 7 handguns on this list aren't just popular. They've earned reputations for working when everything else fails. I'll tell you what makes each one survive hard use, how it handles in real life, and what to expect for maintenance. No fanboy nonsense, just hard-eyed, useful gear talk. Number 1. Beretta 92 FS. Timeless NATO reliability. The Beretta 92 FS is the handgun that carried NATO for decades because it was simple, accurate, and absurdly durable. Its open-slide design resists stovepipe jams and clears debris better than most closed slides. And the long, full-size frame soaks up recoil from high-pressure loads. The 92's locking system and robust steel parts are overbuilt by modern standards, which translates into lifetimes of service with minimal replacement parts. The sights are tall and snag-resistant, and the controls are ambidextrous on many military-spec models, useful in chaotic environments. Action, handling, and maintenance. The 92 FS is a DA/SA platform. Double-action first shot for safety under stress, then single-action follow-ups that reward deliberate firing. Handling is balanced and steady, favoring shooters who want a planted grip and clear sight picture. Maintenance is straightforward. Basic disassembly, cleaning the slide rails and barrel, and checking the extractor spring. Spare parts are widely available thanks to decades of service, and competent armorers can rebuild one from worn components if needed. In 2025, expect a well-maintained Beretta 92 FS on the used market to trade hands roughly in the $600 to $800 range, depending on condition and configuration. When a shotgun built a century ago still runs clean and true, that's proof of real craftsmanship, not marketing. In this video, we're looking at 8 vintage shotguns that continue to fire, cycle, and hunt just like the day they left the factory. These aren't display pieces or wall art. They're living tools that show how good design never expires. We'll break down what makes each one special, how they've survived generations, and what you should know if you're buying or restoring one today. You're watching Trigger Territory. Let's step back in time and into the classics that still work. Number 8, Remington Model 10. Introduced in 1908 and designed by John Pedersen, the Remington Model 10 is an early pump action that bridged the gap between single-shot tradition and modern rapid-fire utility. Light and compact by the standards of its era, the Model 10 offered a simple, reliable action that made it attractive to small farm owners and law enforcement agencies alike. Its slide action was smooth for a production gun of the period, and the magazine tube capacity and chambering for 12 and 16 gauge shells made it a practical tool rather than a luxury. What endears the Model 10 to historical role? It was present during the early adoption of tactical pump designs and saw service in rural hands where dependability mattered more than showroom gloss. Typical restoration work centers on wood refinishing and polishing the internals, but many shooters choose to preserve patina rather than over-restore. The Model 10's understated silhouette also makes it a manageable platform for those who want a vintage shooter that can still be used without museum-level fuss. In short, a compact, historically important pump action that shows how function first shaped 20th century shotguns. Number 7, Winchester Model 1897. The Winchester Model 1897, designed by John Browning, is one of the most influential shotguns ever made. Launched at the turn of the century, the 1897 was a hammer-fired, slide-action shotgun that brought speed and toughness to hunters and soldiers alike. Its simple, exposed hammer design made it easy to operate and maintain. Importantly, trench variants equipped with heat shields and bayonet lugs became infamous for World War I close-quarters fighting. Collectors prize authentic wartime 1897 trench guns, but the civilian sporting equally significant for their role in establishing the pump as the standard action for work guns. The 1897's robust receiver and generous stroke let it cycle heavy rounds that early. Number 4, Heckler & Koch VP9. ergonomics, and engineering that matter. HK's VP9 stands out because its design prioritizes human factors as much as mechanical robustness. The striker-fired VP9 has an impressively crisp trigger, but the real innovation is its modular, paddle-style grip, inserts, and intuitive controls that work for nearly any hand size. The slide and barrel fit are tight enough to guarantee consistent accuracy, but loose enough to tolerate grit and grit-induced wear without jamming. Action, handling, and maintenance. Expect a short, tactile reset and a trigger that encourages disciplined follow-ups. The VP9 points naturally, transitions are fast for practical shooting. Maintenance is routine. Field strip to clean the rails, barrel, and striker channel. Check the recoil spring and extractor for heavy wear. HK parts and service networks are extensive in many markets, which keeps downtime short. Price note: by 2025, a VP9 typically lists around $700 to $850 new, with used examples commonly available in the $550 to $700 window, depending on condition. Number 5. Sig Sauer P320, trusted and modular. The P320 earned its reputation through a modular, no-frills design that simplifies logistics. Drop-in fire control units, swappable grip modules, and wide aftermarket parts support. The striker-fired mechanism is engineered for consistent ignition and robust feeding across a broad spectrum of factory ammunition. Military and law enforcement adoption prove the design's baseline reliability. The P320 tolerates varied ammo, adverse conditions, and high round counts without drama. Action, handling, and maintenance. Handling varies by grip module, but the P320's balance and slide mass make recoil predictable and manageable. The trigger has clean take-up and reset that improves with basic polishing and practice. Maintenance is straightforward. Field strip, wipe the striker channel and rails, and replace springs on a regular schedule if you run high round counts. The modular nature means a single armorer can swap platforms by changing lower modules rather than entire pistols, a logistic advantage. Price note: in 2025, expect MSRP around $600 to $750 for common P320 variants. Street prices on compact and duty models often land near $650. Number 6. Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Proven, affordable duty workhorse. Smith & Wesson's M&P 2.0 earned its place through iterative improvement. Tougher springs, refined feed ramps, and better ergonomics. The platform is simple by design with a reliable striker system, excellent magazine geometry, and a slide profile that sheds debris. Departments and private owners alike choose M&P pistols because they require minimal tuning to run wide categories of ammunition reliably. Action, handling, and maintenance. The M&P 2.0 offers a tactile, clean trigger with a positive reset that aids rapid follow-ups. Controls are oversized and intuitive, especially under stress or while wearing gloves. Maintenance is basic. Break it down, clean the bore and slide rails, and inspect the striker, assembly, and extractor for wear. Magazines are ubiquitous and inexpensive, which matters when you need spares in a hurry. Price note: as of 2025, expect to pay roughly $450 to $550 for most M&P 2.0 configurations, making them an economical, serviceable choice for teams and individuals. Number 7. Glock 19, the uncompromising standard. The Glock 19 earns the top spot because it simply keeps working. The striker-fired design is stripped of complexity with a focus on feeding geometry, durable metallurgy, and magazines that behave. Glocks tolerate neglect, diverse ammo, and battlefield-level grit better than nearly anything else in the polymer pistol category. Parts are everywhere, armorers know the platform, aftermarket support is effectively universal. Action, handling, and maintenance. The Glock's trigger is predictable and its ergonomics unobtrusive. Not flashy, but consistent. Handling is neutral and familiar to most shooters, making transitions and reloads reflexive. Maintenance is almost ritual. Field strip the slide, wipe the barrel and rails, inspect and lightly lubricate the BCG equivalents, and swap magazines as necessary. Because magazines, springs, and slides are standardized across models, repairs and upgrades are quick and cheap. Price note: in 2025, a new Glock 19 usually lists for about $550 to $650 on the retail market. Used guns commonly trade in the $400 to $550 range, depending on where. There's no single best handgun for everyone, but there are pistols that fail less often, are easier to fix, and are supported by parts and armorers when things go wrong. The 7 guns we covered today earned their reputations through years of hard use, sensible engineering, and real-world adoption. Pick one that matches your mission, train with it until fundamentals are reflex, and keep a small spares kit in a cleaning schedule. If this breakdown helped you, hit like, share with someone who cares about real reliability, and subscribe to Trigger Territory for more no-nonsense gear analysis. Which of these would you carry? Tell us below.